Welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC. I'm Dan Thomas, joined in the studio today by Craig Burley and Shaka Hislop. So much to talk about, so we brought in as well. Julien Laurens is with us, as is Don Hutchison and Aage Fjortoft. Where to start? Let's start with Harry Kane, shall we? Because we now know he will be staying at Spurs. He tweeted this today: I will be staying at Tottenham this summer and will be 100% focused on helping the team achieve success. So many tweets directed at you, Don, because of course you've gone on record many times saying it was a done deal to City.
It's still happening, Dan. It's still happening. Be patient. I was stunned when I seen that news today because, you know, the information I had from his camp that it was done. So I've got no idea what's happened there apart from Harry Kane's agent and himself being absolutely Daniel Levy'd. They've been Levy'd up to the max.
Yeah, that's it.
I can't think of a transfer saga that's went on where I think all three parties are actually not happy. Daniel Levy's left with a player on a 4 or 5 year contract, earning fortunes, where he could have got £150 million or close to. Guardiola's unhappy because he doesn't get the man he wants. And Spurs are left with a player that probably hasn't got any resale value if they try and keep him on 3 or 4 years. So I've got no idea what Spurs' plan is here, or Harry Kane's plan.
What do you make of it all, Craig?
Giant bore.
Giant bore?
Yeah, it's making me fall asleep.
What, just life in general?
You know, coming out and making a statement, all this nonsense, you know, I'll strive for success with Spurs. What success? They wouldn't if they had success. It's not going to happen. All this nonsense. I mean, seriously, the transfer window's not closing till September 1st. Don't need to be coming out making statements trying to appease supporters. They know you want to leave. We know you want to leave. And rightly so. You've just gone about it. Your representation have gone about it the wrong way. The problem here is his representation at the time of signing a new contract should have put in a release clause.
Yeah.
That's not difficult. And we're not having this discussion day in, day out. So all this, I'm definitely staying until it's over. It's not over. But, you know, I don't know what Tottenham's game plan is. You know, if the money's there, they might as well take the money because his heart's not in it anymore.
The amazing thing for me is with Harry Kane, and yes, right, his brother's his agent, they made an absolute mess of this.
No, that wasn't. It was
the previous representation, right. But his brother's his agent a few months ago, and you go on record and say, I want to leave because I want to win silverware during the course of my career. So his brother, his representation at the time, has to bear some responsibility for that, as does Harry Kane, because he's the one who went on record and said it. He's the one who, by Daniel Levy's account anyway, was late showing up for training. He's the one who threw the toys out the pram in trying to force this move. You don't now get to say to the Spurs fans, pick up my toys and put them back in the pram for me, and I'll come and play 100%. I just find... Right, okay, those who are happy he stays, fine. I just find the whole scenario as to how Harry Kane managed these last few months to be really, really awful.
But boys, that is the difference between having a good agent and a bad agent. We're talking about good and bad players. You will never see Jorge Mendes or Mino Raiola. We can criticize them as much as we want, money grabbing, whatever. They would never do anything like this. They would have had already made that price with Manchester City known, and they will kind of advise them differently. Yes, we can talk about greed, we can talk about a lot of things, but you can now see how important it is for great players to have great agents in those terms. Harry Kane tried to do two things that was not possible. On the one hand, stay popular among the Tottenham fans and then still get a move, being the captain for the club and your country. That is not possible. And what is this thing about saying I'm going to stay in Tottenham this summer? What happened to this season? I'm going to stay at Tottenham and so on. Well, I mean, they put so many buzzwords into that tweet, but they couldn't manage that. Man, that is hilarious.
Jules, did Manchester City really offer £150 million?
Yes, they did. I believe that's true, but they clearly didn't want to go higher. And I think to get Kane, they would have had to go higher, and they didn't want to. That's why he's staying. That's why he was forced to stay. And I think you can also sense it in the tweet that Jan was referring to right now, which is really, I mean, hypocrite is a very small point towards that tweet. But yeah, that's the price that City were happy to pay, not more. Spurs didn't take it.
Wow.
See, I'd have come out the opposite. I mean, I wouldn't have made a statement, first and foremost.
Yeah, exactly.
But all this trying to appease supporters, who cares?
Yeah.
Every man and his dog knows he wants to leave, and rightly so. Tottenham are a club that are just pottering along, you know, without any real ambition of challenging. I know they've been in the Champions League final under Pochettino. That was an anomaly. But they're not going to challenge over 38 games, and they're not going to be back in the Champions League final anytime soon. So it's understandable that the player wants to go. So please stop with all this trying to appease supporters. Supporters will be appeased if he goes back in the team and starts scoring goals.
Yeah.
The bottom line here goes back to the representation, and the boys are right. Whoever it was, I don't care. But also on the player himself, which I think Shaka mentioned. If I'm doing a deal, and I know I'm doing this deal to get myself a wage rise and to keep the valuation for the club at a good price, so everyone's happy, I say to my agent, make sure we get a 100 million or whatever it is clause in this contract, because I'm only here for a limited period of time, and then I want to make that big move. Yeah. So it's not just about, and I do agree with Jan, you know, and I don't like some of the way these agents do it, but they do it successfully for a reason. But I don't like the fact that the player doesn't have, or the player should have, a strong say in what goes into your contract. And Harry Kane has really, really slipped up here in terms of leaving it all down to whether one club pays enough and whether Daniel Levy will accept that. That goes completely out the window, like Erling Haaland has in his contract and others, when that release clause is met at a certain time.
La Liga. Stream every match on ESPN+.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.